All right. Hello again, Avengers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. It's Daily Vlog 2025, number 279. And today, we're going to talk about some marketing stuff. But because I know most people don't like the marketing stuff, we're going to talk about marketing stuff and Critical Role. Mostly because the entire reason I wanted to record this video is the kind of interesting, remarkable thing that's happened because of Critical Role's marketing plan specifically for Campaign 4. So let's back it up a little bit. So I was watching a video on YouTube, as one does, and I can't even remember who it was that did it, but somebody was looking at the Critical Role numbers and noticed that the live watching numbers were way, 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 way up. And to kind of understand this, again, Critical Role has been, I've said this before, Critical Role has been bleeding viewer numbers for years. Back during their heyday when they were, actual live shows and things like that, they easily got anywhere between 60 to 90,000 plus live viewers every single week. And they have not been able to pull those numbers in years. And it's just been going lower and lower and lower and lower. Now, does that mean nobody likes Critical Role? No. One of the reasons, of which there are many, one of the reasons is back during their heyday, there was one show. If you wanted to watch Critical Role, you needed to watch it Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Otherwise, you had to wait until the VOD was available. And that's it. Nowadays, and you could only watch it on Twitch. That was the only place to watch it. Nowadays, well, until fairly recently, they had the 7 p.m. version of it on Twitch. They also multi-stream to YouTube. They also stream it to Beacon. And there also used to be two rebroadcasts that started one after another for people in other time zones. So there was technically 5 different places that you could watch it. And there was also podcast versions of it, and you still had the YouTube version of it, which for me tended to be a little bit easier because I could break it up into pieces. My brain doesn't like sitting down for 6 hours sometimes to watch a single piece of media. So the reason that Critical Role was just hemorrhaging viewers was not because, they're ruining Critical Role. It is they had expanded the ability for people to watch Critical Role, and that obviously cannibalized a lot of their views. So basically, they were competing with themselves. And so if you just look at Twitch numbers, it looked like Critical Role was going out of favor. Again, that wasn't true. It's never been true. They're still incredibly powerful. Like I mentioned in my other video, I believe that they're actively making decisions that I think are going to hurt the brand overall, but they're still a very, very powerful brand. I mean, look at Daggerheart. I mean, that's all you need to know. So, I watched Campaign 4 live on Twitch because that's where I started with Critical Role, and that's where I like to watch it. And because there's no longer live chat, I just closed chat. There's no reason to have it on. And I just full screened it and had a blast. Like, Campaign 4 Episode 1 was a great episode. I mentioned in my opinions video there were some aspects of it that I was less than thrilled about, but overall it was really fun and it reignited my interest in Critical Role. Again, I did not watch almost any of Campaign 3. It just wasn't my thing. In Campaign 2, I basically stopped watching after they stopped going live because the show lost a little bit. Anyone that's ever done live theater will tell you doing something live is very, very different. Even if like the audience isn't in the room with you for whatever reason, Doing something live is different than doing it pre-recorded. Even if you only get one take, it's a different experience. I've even done it in my own things. Like I've done, I think, one episode of one of my D&D streams where I couldn't stream for whatever reason, but I didn't want to not play the game. And so we played, and I just didn't stream it. I just recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube later. And it doesn't feel the same. It's a different experience. And yeah, after they stopped going live, it just wasn't as much fun for me. There was also a shit ton of other things happening in my own life at that particular point. So anyway, so getting back to the actual topic of this video. So they've been hemorrhaging numbers for a while now. However, somebody actually looked. Their peak numbers, first of all, the thing that surprised me, the first thing that surprised me, according to this video, which I cannot confirm, I bet I could confirm it somehow, but it would require me to do work. And that's just, not cool. So, according to this video I saw, they had something like 40,000 live viewers on Twitch, which is a good number. Again, the vast majority of Twitch streamers, and by vast majority, I mean like 99%, do not get anywhere near that. So that's really good. However, they also looked into what the live numbers on YouTube were, and YouTube was, I think they said 100,000 on there. And that kind of blew my mind because, another fun fact, YouTube is a great video-on-demand website. It is the best video-on-demand website on the internet as far as user-created content. If you start comparing YouTube to like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff like that, then things start getting weird. But as far as user-created content, there is no competition. It's YouTube. However, for watching things live, YouTube kind of sucks for a number of reasons. The YouTube itself is set up for video on demand. That's what it's designed for. And so they've added streaming ability on it, and it's never worked very well. The chat doesn't work that great. The integration of chat with the streams and stuff like that is more difficult. They don't have the things like bits and donation links and all that stuff. Like you theoretically can do like donations and stuff on YouTube, and they have the super chats, but it doesn't really work the same, and it's just not as good. And a lot of people found that out when YouTube started poaching Twitch streamers. They would sign them to exclusivity deals, and would pay them hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to do that. And what every single Twitch streamer found out was as soon as they moved to YouTube, they lost massive amounts of their audience. Nobody watched on YouTube. They lost lots of money. The only people that ever made money streaming exclusively on YouTube were people that had contracts. That was it. Twitch was just better in every single way. Now that Twitch allows multi-streaming, one of the things that I'm starting to see some of the bigger streamers mentioning is multi-streaming. Used to be you'd have a massive audience on Twitch and then maybe a few hundred people on YouTube that for whatever reason just don't like Twitch. Now it's starting to get to a more 50-50 thing where half your audience will be on Twitch and half your audience will be on your YouTube, depending on what your presence on YouTube is. If you have no presence on YouTube and you just start multi-streaming to it, no one's going to watch it there because YouTube doesn't allow people to find live streams. Connecting to a live stream without a direct link is remarkably difficult. Like if I know a friend of mine is streaming on YouTube, I have to manually go to their channel page and then look around and click on a bunch of different tabs to find their live video. It's unbelievably difficult. Compared to Twitch, I just open up Twitch and I have a little list of my friends that are live, or the people I follow that are live. I'm not friends with most of the people I follow on YouTube, to be honest. And I just click on them, and it's super, super easy. And when you open up the Twitch homepage, it generally will have one of the people you follow that are live already on the screen. So when we look at what Critical Role had, the fact that their YouTube audience was bigger than their Twitch audience is a really, really big deal. That's not how it works normally. And when we combine those two numbers, now we can't 100% guarantee that there was nobody that had both chats open, had both things open. So we can't 100% say that, well, that means that they had 140,000 live viewers. Technically, all we know is they had somewhere between 100,000 and 140,000. We can't guarantee that all of those viewers were unique. But that's still a really big deal. Like the top 0.011111 or 0.0000001% of streamers get numbers like that on Twitch. So that's really impressive. However, if you look at their YouTube views for Campaign 4, which just dropped today, so this is a poor number to go off of, but it gives us somewhere to go for. They only have just under 240,000 views, which if we compare the openings to every other campaign, now again, this isn't an apples to apples comparison because the numbers I'm looking at are the numbers today. So like Campaign 1 came out 10 years ago, so they've had 10 years to get these numbers. However, it does give us kind of an idea of comparisons to a point. So Campaign 1, which is still on the Geek and Sundry YouTube channel, 25 million views. Now, it's had 10 years to get 25 million views, but they have had the majority of those views for most of those 10 years. They were very, very popular then. We go to Campaign 2, 21 million views, and that's been up for over 7 years. So in 7 years, they've gotten 21 million views, only 4 million less than their first one, and they were more popular 7 years ago than they were 10 years ago. Then we look at Campaign 3, 13 million views. Significantly lower. It's only been out for 3 years, but as most people will tell you, Campaign 3 just simply was not as popular as Campaign 2 or Campaign 1. It wasn't. But we're still looking at 13 million views. It's pretty good. With this only being 240,000 views, that is remarkably low. So, again, does this mean that Critical Role is failing? No. I think the fact that they had so many live viewers and they're pushing so heavily for Beacon, we have no idea what their Beacon numbers are. But they have put a massive push into shifting people over from Twitch and YouTube to Beacon, which does have a precedent in history. That's exactly what they did with Alpha, and look how well that did. Not saying that that's what Beacon's becoming, but again, the tactics are the same. I'm not saying that Alpha and Beacon are the same thing. They're not. But when they start using the same tactics, it worries me because it means that somebody with a similar mindset to the morons that created Beacon is influencing things there. That's beside the point. So what has caused this massive influx of people to watch Critical Role live? I think it has everything to do with the fact that unlike any other campaign that they've done, they actively marketed Critical Role Campaign 4. What I mean by that is I can't remember the lead up to Campaign 3 super well because that was all happening when my brain was being destroyed. But Campaign 2 I remember a decent amount, and there really wasn't a whole lot of fanfare for it. I mean, they announced some stuff, but there wasn't like interviews and all this stuff. It was just Campaign 2 is coming. Here it is. I don't think we knew anything. Like, we met all the characters during the opening episode, and yeah, like it was just kind of a surprise. Campaign 1 had no marketing. I mean, Felicia talked about, hey, we're going to have this really cool D&D campaign with Matt Mercer and a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors. But that was really all we got about it, was the pitch of, hey, this is our new Twitch channel, and these are the things that are going to be on the Twitch channel. And the first episode of Critical Role, I was there live. I remember, I think they had a few thousand people watching, which again, at that point on Twitch was still massive, but not 140,000 people massive. I think we had somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people watching, which was incredible. So now fast forward to campaign 4, they actually did a marketing campaign. They had a big announcement with a trailer for 4, which, if I remember correctly, I think there was kind of a teaser trailer kind of thing for campaign 3. If anyone was around during campaign 3 and you can remember all the marketing that they did for it, just let me know in the comments down below, because again, I can't remember most of that time of my life because medication and illness has robbed me of my memory. But this time, though, they did interviews with literally everybody. Like Crispy's Tavern had an interview. Geek and Sundry did an interview, which I have to say, is it Dan Casey who did the interview? Again, if I'm saying the wrong name, correct me in the comments down below. But the person that did the interview for Geek and Sundry did a phenomenally good job. Like, absolutely. Not just in they ran a really good interview, but something that if you don't kind of pay attention to like acting as a career, you may not know this, but part of being in like a big movie, part of your contract will be you have to do press for that movie. And the way that a lot of the press for the movie works is they get the actors and they sit them in chairs with a stand-up of the movie next to them. And then all the different journalists that want to ask them questions will be brought in one at a time to go, all those times you see, interviews with the various actors and stuff like that. What happens is the actors are just sitting there for hours as they parade through a bunch of different journalists and other kind of media people who will come in, ask them some pre-prepared questions, and then leave. And the thing about these interviews is a lot of the questions are the exact same questions. So these actors have to answer the same stupid question like 2 or 3 dozen times. And that's for one press event. They will do multiple press events, and then they'll also do like the talk show circuit. Or depending on how big the movie is, they might be doing radio things, or they might be going on like the Today Show or something like that. Like, that's all part of press. And so one of the things really good interviewers are able to do is they understand that these people have been asked the same stupid questions over and over and over again. And so they will come up with interesting, unique questions that no one else has asked the actors. And every so often, you will see actors react to a question and go, oh, that's a good question. It's because, again, mostly it'll be like, oh my God, like for Harry Potter, did you feel like super powerful when you're casting like Expelliarmus? Or Hermione, like what's your favorite spell? Or any of the Marvel movies. Okay, so like what is your favorite superhero? Or if you're a female in any of the Marvel movies. So how hard was it to get into your costume? Because they always say that. So when we're looking at the interview that they did for Geek and Sundry, like over and over and over and over again, I think it was Dan Casey. Again, my brain doesn't remember proper nouns. I can see the guy's face. Over and over and over again, they would ask these questions, and you would watch the actors react to, that's a great question, and then they would answer it. So kudos to Geek and Sundry for running a really great interview. Who would have thought the people that started Critical Role would be able to run a great interview for them? But that's what I'm talking about. Like, they did a massive press tour for this, and I think it paid off. Now, again, the YouTube numbers are not phenomenal, but they also haven't been advertising the YouTube release. Like, they made one tweet about it. Here's another fun marketing fact. If you want to start marketing things, the basic rule of thumb for internet marketing is specifically for Twitter, now X. You should be doing a minimum of 3, sometimes 5 posts throughout the day if you're marketing something on Twitter. So doing a single post, bad marketing, no, bad marketing. And the reason you do 3 to 5 is Twitter is timeline based. So if it's been more than a few hours since you tweeted something, there's very little chance people are going to see it at that point, because so many other things have been posted. It gets buried so far down, they're not going to scroll that far down. So you should be posting, again, 3 to 5 times a day. Things like Instagram, if I remember correctly, it's been so long since I've done marketing like this. TikTok was, you could do 1 TikTok a day. I think Instagram was like 1 or 2 posts a day, but Twitter was 3 to 5. And this is just the standard, or at least it used to be the standard back when I was trying to get into it. So they're not really advertising the fact that the YouTube version of it is could come up. They are advertising other things that are going on, but they really don't advertise heavily for the YouTube VOD of it. And I guess I don't really blame them. YouTube itself will probably push it because it fits all the stuff that YouTube wants right now. And again, it looks like they're pushing really, really heavily for live viewers, specifically to Beacon, but just live viewers in general. And as far as I can tell, it looks like it worked. And the fact that to get back to the other point, the fact that YouTube was bigger than Twitch, I think the reason behind that is, again, the reason you go to Twitch to watch live things is that Twitch offers a better live experience. Twitch chat is miles ahead of YouTube chat and always will be. YouTube live chat is just not designed for, or YouTube is just not designed for live chat. It just doesn't work very well in any way, shape, or form. Twitch chat is just better. You can create bots and things like that to do a lot of different shit on Twitch that you just really can't do on YouTube. It has the channel point system. It's got the it's got bits. It's got Prime subs. There's nothing equivalent to that on YouTube. Like, there's so many things that make Twitch chat just better than YouTube. However, all of those things have been taken away. Critical Role has said, yeah, we're not doing live chat anymore. And despite the fact that they can't technically turn off chat on Twitch, what they can do is just put it into emote-only mode. And even with live chat being dead, effectively, people were still spamming emotes in there. So people were still trying to communicate, despite the fact that communication has just been destroyed by them. Yeah, I think a lot of people switched over to YouTube because if you're going to be just watching it without the chat, YouTube does work. I wouldn't say even like a YouTube Premiere. It's different. Let's just say it that way. It's different than watching a YouTube live broadcast. But all of their marketing has been done, or the majority of their marketing has been done on YouTube or things related to YouTube. They put a huge push towards YouTube. So it doesn't really surprise me that since chat is now taken out of the picture, it's not like the video quality is worse on YouTube than it is on Twitch. It's not. It's about the same. The difference is the interaction and things like that. Thank you, phone. Yeah. Like I said, I found it fascinating that for the first time, it seems like they took the marketing of Campaign 4 seriously. And as far as I can tell, it paid off. Now, whether or not Campaign 4 can keep this momentum going will depend on a lot more things. Not just, well, did they market it correctly? The quality of the show itself is going to matter, but at the exact same time, things that are completely outside of their control are going to affect them as well. Politics is going to affect them. I hate that that's a thing, but it is. Internet outages are going to affect them. News is going to affect them. Like, there's so many other things that they won't be able to control. But the things that they can control, as far as I can tell, they are really pushing really, really hard to make Campaign 4 something special. And I don't want this to sound as mean as it's going to sound, but Campaign 3 really didn't feel like they put that much effort towards it. I think that was one of my bigger turnoffs for it. Is it didn't feel triumphant. It didn't feel like, it felt kind of slap-hazardly put together. And that's not what Campaign 4 feels like. Campaign 4 feels like they put a lot of work into it. And part of that probably has to do with the fact that Brennan Lee Mulligan is the Dungeon Master, and I don't think he has the ability to half-ass something. Like, I just don't think it's in him. And then, the rest of it is, Critical Role has been growing a lot. Even just since Campaign 3 started, Critical Role is bigger than it has ever been. And they have the resources that they can put forward to do this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, they built an entirely new set for Campaign 4 that looks gorgeous. They're doing something nonsense levels of crazy for Campaign 4 with them running a West Marches campaign and all that and having 13 players and everything. Like, they really have pulled out all the stops, and it seems to be working. I'm excited to see what Episode 2 is like. Because, again, as much as I had some gripes about Episode 1, I loved it. Specifically, I want me some more of Luis's character that I can't remember his name now. Ivane or something like that? I don't know. Again, proper nouns in my brain don't go together. But it's a cool friggin' character. And he's a paladin sorcerer. And that's a cool combination. Like, everything about him is cool. I like him. I think it's cool. I really like Travis's character. Like, Kitty Punchy Paladin is cool as well. I hope... Oh, man. I will be so upset if he's not a Punchy Paladin. And what I mean by that is... Punchy Paladin... basically, they didn't show him with a weapon, so I'm hoping that means that his Leonin claws are his weapon that he, like, smites with and everything like that. Because Punchy Paladin, it's super cool! So yeah, if he actually has a sword or uses those rings as his weapon or something, I will be upset. It's still a super cool character. I'm not saying that, man, if you don't make him a Punchy Paladin, you're stupid. No, I think it's a very, very cool character. And that voice, Travis's voice for his character is so nice. Again, being the deep voice that I am, we deep voice guys, we gotta stick together. You'll notice a lot of the character. You guys have never seen me play character. Never mind. When I do play characters, a lot of my characters speak in this register because it's so rare that I get to speak in this register. So yeah. Anyway, interested to hear from you guys. Did any of you guys kind of notice the marketing push, or it was just kind of, water under the bridge or whatever? It didn't even, you didn't even notice it. Register, that's the word I was looking for. It didn't even register to you. And do you think that Critical Role is on an upswing right now, or do you think this is just like the new campaign excitement and it'll die off really quickly? I mean, when we look at numbers, even if we go back, like Campaign 1, Episode 1, 25 million views. Episode 2, 7.6. Massive drop off. Campaign 2, 21 million views. Episode 2, 10 million. Massive drop off. Campaign 3, 13 million views. Second episode, 7. And it just went down from there. Again, Campaign 3 is by far their least viewed campaign. The interesting thing about Campaign 2 is it went 21 to 10 to 11, and then 9, 8, 7, 6, 7, 6, 5, 5. So yeah, Campaign 2, again, was when they were at their most popular as far as live views and stuff like that. And so the numbers kind of reflect that. People stayed on. And to be blunt, the first few episodes of Campaign 2 were brilliant. They really, really were good. I would say, to be blunt, I actually will go as far as to say Campaign 4 Episode 1 is better than Campaign 2 Episode 1. And Campaign 2 Episode 1 was a masterclass in how to bring together a new group of adventurers for a D&D campaign. Like, it was brilliantly done, and I think Campaign 4 is just that little bit better simply because Campaign 2 started in a tavern, which is a trope. It wasn't really tropey. They kind of hung a lantern on it, and it was great, and it was very, very well done. But the fact that Campaign 4 started effectively at a funeral, I think is amazing. And I thought that was just so brilliant for an opening thing to bring everyone together. Just brilliant. So yeah, I would go as far as to say Campaign 4 Episode 1 is probably their strongest intro adventure that they've ever done. Anyway, like I said, interested to hear from you guys. What do you think? Put it in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, that's all from me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.